Hello everybody, welcome back. And once again, this is DJ Lost, and this is our second tutorial on creating your own craftbukkit server. If you remember in our last tutorial, what we did was we downloaded the craftbukkit.jar from bukkit.org. Then we edited the startup batch file that generated all of our files and folders and world that we needed to run. Then double clicking the startup batch file is what gave us our actual startup, and this is referred to as your console. And from that point we went into our server, localhost, and OP'd ourselves. So now here we are OP on our own server, and we're up and running. So the next thing that I want to talk about today is plugins. And what plugins are is added features and added functionality that extend the normal Minecraft game. That's really freaking loud. So options, we're gonna lower that sound just a little bit. So what makes a craftbukkit server different from a Minecraft server, or one of the things, is that you can add plugins that add cool features and functionality that aren't exactly present in a normal Minecraft server, in a vanilla, what people call a vanilla Minecraft server. And there are literally hundreds of these plugins, and they all do different things. So you'll have to research, and you'll have to find out exactly what kind of server that you actually want to run. But in my case, the first thing that you normally want to add is a set of core commands and core features that you'll see on standard on most servers. So let's go back to bukkit.org, and this, you really should favorite the site, because you'll be coming back to it pretty often. Pretty much you need to read every word on every page of this server. Your players are going to expect you to know your server and what makes it tick from the inside out. So what we want to do today is add plugins. So obviously we're going to click on Get Plugins. If you'll notice, there's I don't know, I'm just going to estimate, looks like 25-30 plugins there. If we click on page 20, well, you do the math. 25-30 plugins per page, 20 plugins, or 20 pages. So the first plugin that we want to add is what's called Essentials. So all you've got to do is type in part of the title of what you want to add, in this case Essentials. And here we found the particular plugin that we wanted to add. There are other plugins out there. Command Book is one of the ones I can think of off the top of my head that adds a core set of features, things like spawn and home, and the ability to set warps and things like that. But Essentials, in my experience, has been the best one. So let's go ahead and click on that. Essentials 2.9.1 is their version number. Every plugin that you can find is going to have this page, or a page similar, not this page per se, but a page very similar to this one. And what this page has on it is the downloads, the changelog, the guides. Every page is going to have a guide. It's going to have the permissions page. So basically be prepared to do a lot of reading. So what we want is the core essentials. So once you've downloaded it, go to wherever your downloads go to. In my case, it's downloads, imagine that, and find the file that you just downloaded. It's going to be called Essentials 2.9.1, and if you use WinZip, that's fine. If you use iZark, whatever you use to unzip files. So extract it to here. Once you have it extracted, you're going to have a folder. These jars are what you want. Every plugin, it comes in a jar, because when you save a Java file, that's what it saves it as, is a .jar file. So in this case, we have 4 of them. This is the essential setup, and we want to cut those. Close this and this, and this, in this. Okay, and if you remember, here is our craftbukkit folder that we put everything in. When you download a plugin, and where you want to put it is you want to put it in the plugins folder. Now that we have that done, a lot of people are going to tell you that you can just do /reload. From very many plugins you can do that and it won't cause any problems, but some plugins, if you do /reload, some plugins get loaded in different orders, and if they need to interact with another plugin, they're not going to be able to. So I always recommend actually doing a stop the server, and then restart the server. Remember, to start your server, simply click on the Windows batch file. And this time when it's loading, you're going to notice some extra info in your console. In this case, loading essentials, and just more information about loading essentials. So let's go back into our server, localhost, and now if you type /pl or /plugins, you're going to notice that you have now, instead of 0 plugins, you have 4. If we type help, you'll see that we have 13 pages of help. And since we're OP, we have all of the permissions already that gives us access to each of these commands. Now, the intent of these tutorials is not to explain how to use plugins. You can go to the page that I just showed you for essentials. You can go to each one of those pages for the plugins you want to use and find out the different commands and the different permissions that you can use. What I wanted to do is show you how to install plugins and where to find the proper information. So now that we have essentials, we can do things like spawn, set home. There's nobody here to kill, so let's butcher. And we got rid of all the cows. Okay, well, most of them anyway. Okay, so now it's important to understand the files and what's actually happening when you install plugins, not just what's going on in your server. So now that we've installed essentials, and plugin metrics is not really necessary. In fact, let's go ahead and opt out. Okay, forget everything I just said. So now you see that we have an essentials folder. In this folder, you'll see various folders and files. These folders are going to hold the data that essentials uses. Things like the player's home, when he sets a home. All of this is going to be stored in this file. So if we open up this file, you'll see that I've set a home, and this is my last location, IP address, things like that. So let's exit out of this. Every plugin that you install is going to have a configuration file of some sort. In this case, it's simply config.yml. This file is going to hold all of the configurations for essentials. Apparently we're using a lot of CPU, but that's okay. Again, I'll go into depth in future videos of YML and configuring and how to set up configuration files. But what you need to take away from this is that pretty much every plugin that you install is going to generate a folder, and when it does, it's going to generate a configuration file, and that file is what you need to go into and configure the plugin to work the way that you want it to work on your server. Anybody can just go download 50 plugins, stick them on their server, and call their server done. But then their server is going to be just like every other server out there that's running the same plugins. What makes your server unique is how you configure and how you set up the plugins that you have. So here's the various information for the plugin. Let's get out of here. And here are the actual jars, or the actual plugins themselves. in my next video, what I'm going to go into is how to find the actual information, what you need to know, and the information that you need to have to configure this plugin the way that you want it. And actually, I'm probably lying. The next video I'm going to go into is permissions. For now, I hope that you've been able to, I say an awful lot. Anyway, I hope that you've been able to learn how to install and get a plugin running on your server. Thank you for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for my next tutorial, which is going to be, despite everything that I just said 5 minutes ago, permissions. Thanks for watching.